journey back. So thank you, Jyoti Mataji, for sending out the invitation and to hosting the verses. I heard some of your recitation, Usha Mataji, and who else was it today reciting? Thank you very much for your recitation. Yes, Marvin. Thank you, Prabhu. So today we'll continue with our reading of the third chapter of the first canto, Krishna is the source of all incarnations, and today we'll be reading and discussing text number 35. But before we do so, we shall recite the Mangala Charanam prayers. You can also join me behind muted mics. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutan Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadi Shatadine. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So let me share my screen. Let me go to the verse first. So text number 35. And this, in the breakdown of this chapter, is a new section. And this section incorporates text numbers 35 to 39. And the theme of this section is describing and understanding the Lord. And this verse is spoken by Sri Sutta Goswami to the sages of Naimisharanya. Evan janmani karmani ye aktur ajanasya cha varnayanti sma kavayo veda guyani irit patehe. Word for word synonyms. Evam, thus, janmani, birth, karmani, activities, he, certainly, akartu, of the inactive, ajanasya, of the unborn, cha, and varnayanti, described, sma, in the beginning, kavaya, the learned, Veda Guyani, undiscoverable by the Vedas, Rit Pate, of the Lord of the Heart. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus learned men describe the birth and activities of the unborn and inactive, which is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. Sorry. He is the Lord of the heart. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Both the Lord and the living entities are essentially all spiritual. Therefore, both of them are eternal, and neither of them has birth and death. The difference is that the so-called births and disappearances of the Lord are unlike those of the living beings. The living beings who take birth and then again accept death are bound by the laws of material nature. But the so-called appearance and disappearance of the Lord are not actions of material nature, but are demonstrations of the internal potency of the Lord. They are described by the great sages for the purpose of self-realization. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita by the Lord that his so-called birth in the material world and his activities are all transcendental. And simply by meditation on such activities, one can attain realization of Brahman and thus become liberated from material bondage. In the Shrutis, it is said that the birthless appears to take birth. The Supreme has nothing to do, but because he is omnipotent, everything is performed by him naturally, as if done automatically. As a matter of fact, the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his different activities are all confidential, even to the Vedic literatures. Yet they are displayed by the Lord to bestow mercy upon the conditioned souls. We should always take advantage of the narrations of the activities of the Lord, which are meditations on Brahman in the most convenient and palatable form. The verse again. Thus learned men describe the births and activities of the unborn and inactive, which is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. He is the Lord of the heart. Beautiful verse and many interesting and enlightening points both in the verse and the purport. So this verse, Srila Sutta Goswami is describing the nature of the Lord. And he says that learned men describe the births and activities of the unborn and inactive. So this is the nature, this is the activity, this is the occupation of learned souls. They are always describing the activities of the Lord. And yet he said, birth and activities. We know in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvataha twakta dehan purna janma naiti mam eti so Arjuna. That anyone who understands the transcendental nature of his appearance and disappearance does not, upon quitting the body, take birth again. Such souls return to the Lord's abode. So the nature of the devotees of the Lord, or the transcendentalists, they are always describing the activities of the Lord, his appearance and disappearance. But this verse uses one very interesting word. Prabhupada calls it Veda Guyani. That these activities, they are undiscoverable even by the Vedas. Now that's quite a stark statement, because we know that the Lord is revealed through the Vedic literatures. And yet it is said here that the Lord is undiscoverable even by the Vedas. So how is it that the Vedas, who are unable to discover the Lord, can reveal the Lord? That's a very interesting point. Would anyone like to unravel this mysterious statements that we find? Anyone got any thoughts on this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah, I think like when you refer to Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam, so it's there, but it is in a decoded language which not everyone can understand. Krishna can reveal about himself only to devotees. So I think that is why even Vedas it is mentioned, but we cannot understand until we have unflinching, unmotivated devotion towards the Lord.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I actually almost deliberately, thank you very much for that statement, said Veda Guyani. It's not true what I just said, that the Vedas cannot discover the Lord. What is really being said here is Veda Guyani, undiscoverable by the Vedas, means one can study the Vedas again and again and again and again and very scrutinizingly. But one will not discover the Lord in the Vedas. That's what Veda Guyani means, undiscoverable by the Vedas. But in the purport, Prabhupada says something also, which one we can look at it differently. As a matter of fact, the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his different activities are all confidential, even to the Vedic literatures. So there's two ways of looking at it. And Prabhupada in the purport almost says that the Lord's activities are even undiscoverable to the Vedic literatures. Most of you all may have read and studied the Sri Ishopanishad. True? I take it most of the devotees here have read Sri Ishopanishad. It is one of the more important Upanishads. So once, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada the question, who spoke Sri Ishopanishad? Does anyone know how Srila Prabhupada answered? If someone asks you the question, who spoke Sri Ishopanishad? How would you respond? Shall I tell you what Prabhupada said? Okay. So Srila Prabhupada said, Sri Ishopanishad was spoken by the Vedas personified. Sri Ishopanishad was spoken by the Vedas personified. So the Vedas were speaking the Sri Ishopanishad. Now let me bring up some of the words of the Sri Ishopanishad. Here we go. So we know from the Sri Ishopanishad, there are some very, very revealing verses there, where it is said, please reveal to me, please remove the covering which hides your features. And I'm just trying to find that verse now, just bear with me.
17, Prabhuji.
Hiranyamahe Patrena.
Hiranyamaya, yeah, 17. No, it's not 17. What happened to me? This verse is just, oh yeah, there it is. It's 15. It's 15. So let me share with you this verse. So the Vedas is saying in the Sri Ishopanishad, Hiranyamayena Patrena Satjas Yapi Hitam Mukham Tattvam Pushan Apavrinu Satya Dharmaya Drishyate. Dristaye. So the Vedas is saying, oh my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. So there are aspects in the Vedas, and you know that the Upanishads is the philosophical part of the Vedas, where the Vedas itself is praying to the Lord, please reveal yourself to me. So the Lord, he is not revealed. He is undiscoverable to everyone. That means you can try to discover the Lord through various means, but we will fail. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that he reveals himself to his devotees. Krishna says, Bhaktya tu ananyaya sakya aham evam vidurjuna jatnatum drashtum cha tatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. So although Krishna is undiscoverable, he can be discovered through the Vedas. I mean, through devotional service, through pure devotional service. How this happens is very interesting. This question about how and when does Krishna reveal himself is an interesting question. In the Nectar of Devotion, this is revealed by Srila Rupa Goswami. And Srila Rupa Goswami, or the Acharyas, explain that Krishna has three energies, just like the material energy is broken up into the three modes, Tamagun, Rajagun, and Sattvagun. In the same way, the spiritual energy is divided into three divisions, Sandini, Samvit, and Ladini. So Sandini is the existential potency of the Lord. Samvit is the cognitive potency of the Lord, or the knowledge potency. And Ladini is the internal energy, the pleasure potency of the Lord. So it is explained in Nectar of Devotion that when a devotee develops a certain level of intensity and achieves a certain level of purification of heart, and the lolium, the greed to experience the Lord becomes so intense that the Lord, through various agencies, mainly the spiritual master and the holy name, bestows what is called the Kripa Shakti on the devotee. And the Kripa Shakti is made up of these two potencies of the Samvit potency, the knowledge potency, and the internal potency, the Ladini potency. So when the Lord bestows this upon the devotee, especially the Samvit, firstly the Samvit potency, the knowledge-giving potency, then the devotee gets to understand who Krishna really is. Sometimes we may think we've read Bhagavatam, we've read Bhagavad Gita, that we have a reasonable idea of who Krishna is. Actually, that is compared almost insignificant. We may know some knowledge, some gyan, but factually, we lack the understanding of who Krishna is. But when the Samvit potency, when we receive the Samvit potency, it's like Krishna is completely revealed to us. Krishna is completely revealed. And when that stage, when the devotee understands who Krishna really is, understands Krishna, what is Krishna's real potencies, understands the real nature of Krishna's appearance and disappearance, that knowledge increases our attraction for Krishna unlimited times. Unlimited times. We become attracted to Krishna just by knowledge of, real knowledge of who Krishna is. The intensity of our love for Krishna and our attraction for Krishna is undescribable. And the same thing happens when Krishna bestows his Ladini potency on the devotee. When that Ladini potency is bestowed upon the devotee, then Krishna becomes extremely attracted to the devotee, very much attracted to the devotee, by dint of being bestowed with the Ladini potency. So in this way, we can understand from the teachings of the Acharyas how we can understand Krishna. But it's not a cheap understanding. This is a very, very elevated stage of Krishna consciousness. And this can never be achieved. This stage can never be achieved. It can only be bestowed upon us. It can only be bestowed upon us. So Krishna is very difficult to understand. We cannot discover the Lord, but by the mercy of the Lord, through the agency of Charanam Prabhu, through the agency of the pure Vaishnava, the spiritual master, then Krishna becomes revealed to us. So in one sense, the whole process of Krishna consciousness is about attracting that mercy, not about becoming so qualified that we can discover Krishna. No, nobody can discover Krishna. Krishna remains always covered, always covered. It's only by his mercy that he can be revealed. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he used to say, don't try to see Krishna, but act in a way that Krishna will want to see you. And this, in one sense, is the essence of the process of bhakti, that we want to attract the mercy. We want to attract the mercy, and we never feel ourselves competent. We always feel ourselves very humble and incompetent. And then through this way, we attract the mercy of the Lord. So there are just one or two other aspects of the verse which I would like to touch upon. And the purport is just so much in this purport and verse, but I want to touch on one more aspect in the time we have. And this is the statement or the word Rit Patehe, the Lord of the heart. He is the Lord of the heart. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? He is the Lord of the heart. It's very interesting. When I see such statements, I always think of this particular verse in the Shastra, and this is from Sri Brahma Samhita. And I want to read to you the verse and the purport by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because it is very revealing and very insightful. So this is Brahma Samhita 538. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Ridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achinta Gunaswarupam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Pajami. So the translation: I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shama Sundar, Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in their hearts of hearts with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. So sometimes we wonder, will I see Krishna? How will I see Krishna? Where will I see Krishna? I'll read to you the purport by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's very revealing. So the purport: the Shama Sundar form of Krishna is his inconceivable, simultaneous, personal and impersonal, self-contradictory form. True devotees see that form in their purified hearts under the influence of devotional trance. The form Shama is not the blue color visible in the mundane world, but it is the transcendental, variegated color affording eternal bliss, and it is not visible to the mortal eye. This eye cannot see that Shama Sundar. On the consideration of the trance of Vyasadeva, as in the shloka Bhakti Yogena Manasi, etc., Srimad Bhagavatam 174, it will be clear that the form of Sri Krishna is the full personality of Godhead and can only be visible in the heart of a true devotee, which is the only true seat in the state of trance under the influence of devotion. When Krishna manifested himself in Vraja, both the devotees and non-devotees saw him with this very eye, but only the devotees cherished him, eternally present in Vrindavan as the priceless jewel of their heart. Nowadays also, the devotees see him in Vraja in their hearts, saturated with devotion, although they did not see him with their eyes. The eye of devotion is nothing but the eye of the pure, unalloyed spiritual self of the jiva. The form of Krishna is visible to that eye in proportion to its purification by the practice of devotion. When the devotion of the neophyte reaches the stage of Bhava Bhakti, the pure eye of that devotee is tinged with the salve of love by the grace of Krishna, which enables him to see Krishna face to face. The phrase "in their hearts" means Krishna is visible in proportion as their hearts are purified by the practice of devotion. The sum and substance of this shloka is that the form of Krishna, who is Shama Sundar, Natavara, the best dancer, Muralidhar, holder of the flute, and Trimbanga, triple bending, is not a mental concoction, but is transcendental and is visible with the eye of the soul of the devotee under trance. Now, dear devotees, do you understand what it means when it says in this verse that he is the Lord of the heart. We can discuss that purport and that verse so much in length, but I'll stop now because I think the purpose of our sessions is not only for us to talk, for me to talk, but it's for all for you, also for you all to talk and share your realizations, your reflections, and if you have any questions, to ask any questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vrindavan, Chandra, Prabhu, Dhanava, Pranam, Zogash, Prabhupada. Thank you for a very, very wonderful nectarian session. Really very deep, so thank you. I have a question. It's a conundrum that we have in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. So we learn from the Vedic literature, as you've so beautifully recited and clarified, that Krishna is only revealed by his mercy. But our philosophy in Gaudiya Vaishnavism is actually we can't approach Krishna for his mercy. We can only approach him through Radharani as our principal worshipable deity, being the Ladini Shakti of Krishna. Then we have further layers that actually even Radharani can't be approached without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, because he is the Guru. And Lord Nityananda, Prabhu, can't be approached without the mercy of Guru and the Vaishnava's blessings. So thus comes the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant philosophy. So Krishna's mercy in real terms for us as devotees is actually quite far away. We're reliant on the devotees, Guru, Parampara, Nityananda Prabhu, Balaram, and ultimately Srimati Radharani. And then only there's a hope of receiving Krishna's mercy. So Shastra doesn't tell us that, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does. Of course, one and the same. There's no difference. I'm asking the question because it's one that a lot of people ask. So I'm asking to see how you can clarify that conundrum.
I'm not sure I understood the question, the conundrum, Prabhu. Can you please explain it to me again?
So we can't understand Krishna without his mercy.
Yes.
But his mercy for us as Gaudiya Vaishnavas is not available to us. Although it is says in Shastra, it is his mercy.
Yeah.
We are reliant on a much longer line of parampara right up to Radharani for that mercy. So it is not actually Krishna's mercy that we're reliant on, it's actually Radharani, Balaram, Nityananda, Guru, and the mercy of the devotees. Is that one and the same or not?
Yeah, actually it is Krishna's mercy coming through his various agencies. His eternal consort, Srimati Radharani, his devotees. It's all Krishna's mercy. Krishna is the source of everything. Even that mercy comes from Krishna, but it flows. It flows through the transparent via medium or through his agencies. In particular, the pure devotees and the spiritual master. So the conundrum, actually, it's not that the devotees or the agents are manifesting a mercy of Krishna. No, they are the via medium. It is ultimately Krishna's mercy, but it's flowing through these agencies, through these mediums. And that's how Krishna likes to deliver his mercy. Because Krishna says, if we are a submissive, as Prabhupada used to say, love me, love my dog. If you love my pure devotees, once I had a very senior Vaishnav give a very nice explanation. It is said that there's this transcendental competition that goes on between Krishna and his devotees. Krishna wants to give mercy to his pure devotee, but his pure devotee doesn't want to accept it. They just want to serve. They don't want to take any service. So Krishna is in this dilemma. He wants to give mercy to his pure devotees, but they don't want to take it. So when Krishna sees a particular jiva or living entity offering service to his pure devotee, then Krishna thinks to himself, look how they are serving my pure devotee. They are doing for me what I can't do. They are offering service. So I'm very, very indebted to this particular devotee. So I shall give him my mercy. I shall give him my mercy. So yeah, it is. There is no dichotomy here. It is all reconciled. That ultimately everything comes from Krishna, even the mercy, and we receive it through various agencies of Krishna. Tulsi Maharani, Bhagavatam. All Bhagavatam is Krishna, the pure devotee, the Lord's incarnations, his expansions, and so on. I'm not sure if I've answered your question, Prabhu.
Very beautifully, Prabhuji, very beautifully. Thank you. Perfect answer.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments or reflections or even corrections? I'm happy to take. Shailaja Mataji, you unmuted yourself. You want to
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
share a reflection?
Thank you very much for the most beautiful transcendental love of the Lord. That very strongly sticks to our heart. I think just with that one sentence, it just takes away for so much of anarthas in our heart, getting us more attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. He is indeed the most beautiful in his form as well as in his love. Thank you very much for that. It is really nectarian that the more we discuss, the more nectarian it is, and it's just impossible to come out of that. It is a transcendental what do we call that? Intoxicant, transcendental intoxicant it is. That's a really nice topic to discuss, Prabhuji. Unfortunately, my question is a little different today, so I didn't want to interfere in between, but I have two questions. One is that how much is the difference between the chanting of an initiated disciple and the non-initiated disciple, who has been practicing, who is kind of surrendered their best and trying to chant as much as they can, as pure up to their capacity. Is it too much of a difference, or is it okay? Does Krishna really hear us, and does it got any effect, or it is not until we are initiated? Or how does it go?
The holy name is always effective. The holy name is always effective. But our process is, we are very much in the system of parampara. That everything we receive through parampara. And everything we offer to Krishna, we offer through parampara. As Prabhuji just said now, Shailesh Prabhu, is our ultimate philosophy is that we are the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, unlimited times. That is the essence of our philosophy. So even the holy name, we want to receive the holy name in parampara. It has a special potency. When we received Diksha, we receive Nam Prabhu in parampara. There's a special potency that comes. Like sometimes, you can receive a medicine, and it may be different people can give you the medicine or dispense the medicine to you. But when it comes through a highly qualified doctor, he can give the medicine in a very nice way. You can see when one takes Diksha, Harinam Diksha, the spiritual master always speaks about the 10 offenses to the holy name. And through that process, when the guru instructs before giving the diksha, then we are imbued with the special potency to be specially conscious against the offenses. So the answer to the question is both are effective, initiated or not initiated. One chants the holy name there, it's effective. But when one takes Harinam Diksha through Parampara, there's a special potency of how one receives and offers the name to Krishna. Does that answer your question, Sharon?
That does answer my question, Prabhuji. Just as an extension, when Srila Prabhupada came into West and he's written his message through his books, even though it is coming through the Guru, I mean, for majority of the public people who just read one of his books and then they just start chanting wherever they are, for them it is still coming through the mercy of the Guru. So does it even count?
I read something really amazing recently. So one devotee was speaking to Srila Prabhupada, and he was saying, Srila Prabhupada, there are so many people, we give them your book, they receive your book, and then by receiving your book, they receive the holy name and they start chanting. But many of these people, they're not initiated. What about them? And Prabhupada responded very quickly. He said, just by receiving my book and reading my books, they are already initiated. Prabhupada said that. I have it on record. Prabhupada said that. So it would seem that Prabhupada is so merciful. He's giving some sorts of special delivery of the holy name through his books. Some special delivery. But Prabhupada says, both are important, the instruction and the example. One should not take that as an excuse not. Prabhupada also said in his books, one should receive the holy name through the spiritual master. So we can understand that, yes, when we, through reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we receive the holy name, we are connected to the holy name. But Prabhupada also said we should take initiation. So both, we have to follow both instructions of Srila Prabhupada's.
Perfectly answered, Prabhuji. That's like amazing. His mercy is like matchless. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very quickly, my other question is, when the Lord says Sarva Dharman Parityajya, like you surrender everything and then you just surrender unto me, leave everything else. And don't be afraid, I will deliver you from all the sinful reactions. So what does that exactly mean, like by I would protect you from the sinful reactions? Is this like, does he fast track all the sinful reactions that we just take it at once and then come out of this material world quickly? Rather than taking more number of births? Or is it that he would nullify some of the reactions? Or is it like we burn some of the karmas, how it says when we fried the seeds and then we sow them, they don't produce the plants? Or what exactly is the mechanism? And
it can be a long answer, but I'll give a very simple and a short answer. Some devotees and Prabhupada sometimes refers to Krishna karma. It is said that Krishna, that karma is no more ordinary karma. Krishna takes that karma and he may use that karma in a way to bring us closer to him. It's not no ordinary karma. Krishna takes that karma, it's no more ordinary. He says, I protect you from sinful reaction. Krishna actually accepts those sinful reactions when one surrenders it to him, or via the medium of the Guru. When one takes initiation, the Guru accepts all the karma. The Guru is a representative of Krishna. So we can look at it from the perspective of the Guru taking the karma at the time of initiation. Also, we can look at it as Prabhupada speaks about in his books. Krishna uses that karma not in the ordinary way, that Krishna uses that to bring us closer to him. Those are two ways of looking at it. But we can discuss it much length. There's other devotees, I think Saroj Mataji has unmuting herself. She wanted to say something, so you can speak, Saroj Mataji. Thank you for your question, Shailaji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
We've heard a lot of stories about simple people, like they were just devotees, not really in a parampara system, or not even very learned. They've been delivered straight away because of their activities.
When you say delivered, Mataji, how do you mean?
I mean, there's a story about a poor Brahmin, I think. and he was just serving other people, like, serving food and doing services for them. He wasn't learned or anything at all. And in a flesh, he was realized, he was delivered. While other people who had done, like the priests and them, they'd done loads of services, lots of pujas, lots of yagnas, and they were told they still have to take quite a few births before they'll be realized. So, when you were saying about parampara system and all that, it's, like being a very simple person, I think servicing other people, it doesn't matter who you service, you do it with a pure heart and pure intention. Krishna will come to you? Is
That's not,
or it's too simplistic?
according to the Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and all of the Vaishnava scriptures, by doing ordinary punya, which means good work for people, opening up schools, feeding the poor, all that one gets accumulates is lots and tons of punya.
Okay.
That punya at best can take you to the higher planets. It won't take you to Krishna. One cannot achieve Krishna by feeding the poor, by doing humanitarian work. One cannot achieve Krishna. One can only achieve Krishna by pure Krishna bhakti. So we judge, or we actually don't judge anyone. It's not for us to judge, but we can see who are the great devotees. And Bhagavad Gita is very, very clear. Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yuveti tattvataha twakta den punar janma naiti mam eti. So Arjuna, and this verse, what we read today, we studied, is saying that the same thing. Only one who understands the transcendental nature of my appearance and disappearance does not, upon leaving the body, take birth again. And how does one come to understand factually? It's only through bhakti. It's only through revelation. Not through good work, not through humanitarian work, only through Krishna bhakti. Because ultimately, Krishna only wants to be with those that love him unconditionally. If we love our fellow humankind, but we do not have developed that intense love for Krishna, then Krishna will say, you be in that place where you can carry on doing this. You don't necessarily have to be with me. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mataji?
Yes, I do understand what you're saying, but in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it also says that Krishna is in everybody's heart.
True, yes. So what is the point you're making?
That it doesn't matter who we serve, as long as we're doing service in a pure hearted.
No. That is a wrong philosophy. Manava seva, Madhava seva. That is Mayavadi. Serving man is serving, Manava seva is Madhava seva. No, definitely not. And when you say Krishna is in the heart, yes, there's two. There's the super soul, there's Krishna in the heart, and then there's the individual Atma. To think that every soul is Krishna, that's Mayavadi philosophy.
Okay.
That is an incorrect understanding. If we are serving man, thinking that man is God, so we are serving God, that is Mayavadi philosophy. That is incorrect understanding.
Okay, so what you are saying is we only serve through the parampara system, not anybody else.
Well, Krishna is, I'm not saying, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that is how we serve him. We serve him through parampara. And there are different sampradayas. There's not only Hare Krishna movement, there is the Sri Sampradaya of Lakshmi Devi, the Kumara Sampradaya, the Kumaras. There's the Brahma Sampradaya, there's the Rudra Sampradaya. There's so many sampradayas. We can serve Krishna through all. There's no monopoly. But you have, as Prabhupada says, if you want your letter to be delivered to the correct address, you put it in a bona fide red letterbox that belongs to the post office.
Okay.
If you go and put it to an incorrect box, any box that it doesn't belong to the post office, is not going to reach your destination. You have to put it in the right Royal Mail post box. then it will reach its destination. That is what parampara means. And we have to surrender to the Guru. Krishna says the first aspect of surrender is to surrender to the Guru. That's how you demonstrate surrender to him, is to surrender to his representative. In the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami sets out 64 principles of bhakti. And he says the first 3 are prerequisites. Guru Padashraya, taking shelter of the lotus feet of Guru, taking initiation from him and surrendering into him.
Okay.
There is like a letterbox. There's a bona fide. Our devotion has to go through the correct Royal Mail letterbox, through the parampara. Otherwise, Krishna doesn't receive it.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Sorry, Mataji, if I sounded a bit
No, that's fine.
heavy,
That's fine.
That's Prabhupada, the philosophy Prabhupada gave us. Very clear, very distinct philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
for your
Krishna.
question, Mataji. It was very, very nice question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, there is one question from iPhone. What are the things we need to do to get the mercy of Krishna?
We have to render devotional service to Krishna. Krishna came in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach how to get Krishna's mercy. And he imparted within the heart of Rupa Goswami all of these instructions. And Srila Rupa Goswami has written that in a book called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which Srila Prabhupada has translated as the Nectar of Devotion. There's a complete science of how to get the mercy of Krishna. There's 64 items of devotional service. We can practice that. So we have to learn, we have to take training from a bona fide representative of Krishna, the spiritual master, the Vaishnavas, and learn. But the 5 most important aspects for getting Krishna's mercy, Srila Rupa Goswami says, okay, I've said so many things, but I'll make it easy for you. Chanting the holy name of Krishna, worshipping the deity, associating with Krishna's devotees, residing in a holy place, and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the 5 most potent of the 64 items. If one practices either 1, 2, 3, 4, or all 5, one is surely to attract the mercy of Krishna. But we have to do it through parampara. Hare Krishna. Gone much more over time, so I do apologize if I taken up too much of your time today. I think we should stop here. Thank you very much for your wonderful questions and your attention. All glories to your service, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vanchikalpatarubhya, Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you.